I'm a little early, but I'm going to do a sound check right quick. Or I'm a little early, and I'm going to do a sound check right quick. Whichever one you prefer. Notorious for... Music's too loud. Got it, got it. There's going to be an echo for a second. I don't know why the music's so loud. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Except that now my iPad is not capturing. Oh, that's why. Just timed out. That happens too. Funny story. Apple is picky. Who'd have thought, right? Okay. So good morning. This happy Saturday. I don't even know what the date is. What's the date today? Happy Saturday, April 11th. And this is going to be my refresher live stream for art sessions. It's been a while. It's been a while. Tablet issues and, you know, social issues. What can I say? And this is also going to mark the first art session that's actually tied to the Battle Barge, of which I'm a part. So I'm Dax, independent artist, GM on the side, and dad. Most important part, dad. So that was in ascending order, 3, 2, 1. And I also work on the Battle Barge, which is an annual tabletop gaming cruise. I run the Wrath and Glory sessions, Wrath and Glory being a tabletop RPG in the 40K universe that was created by Cubicle 7. 40K itself being, of course, created by Games Workshop. I have been a fan of the Warhammer 40K universe since 1993. Well, actually, I guess I was a fan a little before '93, but I bought into it in 1993 for the first time. Yes, I'm old. Um, so 40K is the Grimdark. It has been progressing story-wise and um, miniature library-wise and monetary costs for many decades. It's finally becoming mainstream with factors such as, you know, really good video games. I mean, they've had really good video games. The Fire Warrior video game from the early 2000s was peak. I really think that's what exploded them. Space Marine was awesome, even though I'm kind of burnt out on Ultramarines. Titus is the man. Uh, Dark Tide now is still going strong. Love it. We play it all the time. Space Marine 2 really did it, selling so many copies, and still, it's kind of died off the last few weeks, but it's still hanging around. I think once they get the new patch in, it'll bring some people back. Regardless, it's becoming mainstream due to those, due to the Amazon show Secret Level. The best episode was a 40K episode. I might be biased, but it was. And because Henry Cavill being such an open supporter of 40K. It's like his favorite hobby. So, and he's a blood angel like me too. And so anyway, 40K's become, I mean, in the UK, it's actually just a standard hobby, or at least in Britain. In Britain, it's just a standard hobby. There's a bunch of people make a living off of 40K YouTubing. Um, Tournaments are going strong. I took part in my heyday. I took part in a few of the yearly GW run tournaments, um, and I kind of got out and then got back in and try and catch up on all the lore now for the past few years. But been doing pretty good. I'm getting there. Um, I think it'd be difficult for anybody to keep track of all the lore all the time because you've got tons of factions and sub-factions, and then on top of that, they've got a whole fantasy universe. So, long story short, too late. Big fan of 40K. So I was pleased to help out with the Battle Cruise 2025, and we had a blast. And the story, because their tournament actually has a backstory, so their story is constantly progressing. We've got online campaigns that we do, of which I do all the original art. We do those monthly here. We've got a podcast that we're trying to get running. It's walking. We're trying to get it running, but everybody's busy right now, especially with summer coming up. Um, and this is going to be part of that podcast. Technically, this is going to be an Adeptus Carnivalum Art Sesh. I don't know why my logos aren't running actually, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. It's the thumb. I'll fix that later. The thumbnail's got it. Adeptus Carnivalum. And we've got many short stories. Um, we're working on some resources. I guess you're kind of getting a cheat look at some of those right now. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're getting a sneak peek of some of the resources we're working on right now. Those are card templates in the middle there. Uh, and on the right are tokens. And I think what we'll do today, I think I'm going to focus on a token today to keep it simple and keep it short. Um, and that token is going to be based on the second campaign that we just started Wednesday. So the second campaign, first campaign was covering orcs in the Calim's Reach sector that were trying to hijack a space hulk, and they successfully did so. All that's still here on YouTube, so you can catch those reruns. And the new campaign is all Chaos Astartes, Word Bearers. That just started Wednesday, and it was a hoot. I got to tell you, it was one of my favorite sessions. Um, and one of the things in there that we did, I think that's what we're going to do today. I've been throwing it around. I try to be spontaneous. I don't plan much of this shit out because, life is spontaneity, yeah. Um, Chaos, as it were. So what we're going to do today, I think what we're going to do today is that headless horseman. So there was a navigator that we had a vote on. Um, well, the vote was between the navigator or the sorcerer. So we had an instance in the campaign Wednesday where to complete an objective, the team had to do something, and they did it. But um, coming up with the narrative, the role play for how it happened was a little wonky. So we left it up to the audience, and the audience voted that this navigator, this warp navigator, that lost his head, their sorcerer was going to repair him, or I guess he would really mutate him, and he would uh, be the navigator to replace himself. So I lovingly nicknamed him the Headless Horseman. And I think that's what we're going to do today. We're either going to do that or we're going to do an aquatic tyrannid. And those watching, there's a couple of you, those watching, if you want to vote, you can. Whether you want me to work on an aquatic tyrannid or whether you want me to work on the Headless Horseman. And then something else we're going to do today, and I keep hitting that so that um, the pencil doesn't time out. And then we'll also go over top 5 assassin flicks. It's not really connected per se to what we're doing today, but we had to talk about it the other day, top assassin flicks, because I'm a huge fan of assassin flicks. Um, and we're probably going to have to define assassins for today. But I recently saw Dust Bunny, Mads Mikkelsen's new assassin flick, and it's just so good. So throughout the course of the video, before we get to the end, we'll probably, well, not probably, I will vote on my personal top 5 assassin flicks of all time. And so assassin really, since it's not the Crusades, we're really talking about political hitmen, not just hitmen per se. Um, so I may do another one later for standard hitmen, or maybe we'll just include them. Maybe I'll change it to top 5 hitman flicks. That would make it more fun because assassin flicks are far fewer. Yeah, let's do that. We'll just make it top 5 hitman flicks. Besides, that way I can include my favorite movie. So that makes number 1 easy. If I can spell. My teacher used to always say, the better you are at writing, the worse you are at spelling. Okay, top 5 hitman flicks. If we're doing that, then my number 1 is easy because my favorite film of all time just so happens to be a hitman flick, and that is Boondock Saints. If you haven't seen Boondock Saints, this is where I tell you that you fucking need to see Boondock Saints. I think it's on Amazon Prime if you got Amazon Prime. I want to say. I'm sure you can find it streaming for free somewhere, but I mean, you can just buy it too. You can trust me, it's worth buying. And Boondock Saints is film from 1999 by Patrick Duffy, who has done very little. But it stars Sean Patrick Flannery, Norman Reedus, and Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe was amazing. Honestly, he was probably the best part of it. And then Patrick Duffy's good friend James Del Rocco was in it also, and he was pretty awesome. So the top 5 bills were, I mean, that's all you need for the movie. They were just amazing, all 4 of them. And it had a sequel, and the sequel's good. It's not great. It is good. And they've been talking about doing a third one for, I think, almost 20 years. I think 15 years now they've talked about doing a third one. So we'll see if it ever gets made. Hopefully it will. Um, and there's no doubt that it's my favorite film, so it's got to be my favorite Hitman film. And why is it my favorite film? I don't know. I'd say it's my favorite film because it's funny and it is irreverent. Um, there's very little romance in it, which was a nice change in 1999. Um, the plot is basically that these 2 Irish brothers, and I am Irish, become assassins for God, or hitmen for God, really. I don't know. That's difficult to say. I just like the flow of it. I think it was edited well. I think the dialogue is very clever and real. Um, the characters, oh my God, Schmecker, Willem Dafoe's character is just so good. Oh, and Billy Boyd's in it. I almost forgot about that. Billy Boyd's in it as well. Yeah, yeah. The top 5 characters, top 5 characters are just done so well, and 3 of them return. No, two of them return. Kind of 3, 2.5, 2.5 return for the second one. Maybe that's why it just wasn't as great. The replacement characters, Romeo was really good, but the replacement characters as a whole did not fill the gap of the whole. But it was still good. So easily my top 1 Hitman flick, Hitman including assassins and just Hitmen, is Boondock Saints. Now 2 through 5 is going to require some conversation, so we'll get started while I work on that. So I'll probably just use the standard paper size. We're going to end up in this template here. Um, Procreate works a lot like PSD. So if you're familiar with Adobe products, then um, you'll be familiar with Procreate for the most part. It is not, however, as complicated. Procreate kind of dummies a lot of it down, not necessarily intellectually, but access-wise, because you can use your fingers to do certain things, to move things around, to pinch. You can use your fingers to pinch and pull. Um, you can tap to undo. So it's handy that way, and it's also handy because Apple actually made the best light pen, in my opinion. Opinion. Apple made the best light pen, in my opinion, the Apple Pencil. And Procreate works. It's exclusively for iOS, and it works with the Apple Pencil. And the Apple Pencil is actually sensitive. So this is as close, in my experienced opinion, this is as close to you as you get to an actual drawing medium. And I'll show you some of the brushes when we get in here. I'm probably just going to do a standard paper. Paper gives you a good size to work with. Use your fingers to twist. So the standard paper size gives you a good, for a token. Again, we're going to do a token. And it gives you a good size to work with on your token. Um, you can change up here, you can change your canvas. You can change the DPI. You can really change whatever you want. So you can make it 400 DPI if you want. You can increase it even after you've got in here. You can crop it. It's pretty easy to manage everything. A lot of the interfaces that you're going to be seeing, this is for people who are completely new to Photoshop, or not Photoshop, to Procreate. A lot of the interfaces you're going to see me using are going to seem similar if you're used to the big name art programs. So we're going to start with a rough sketch. I always do because I used to be, for the most of my life, I was a sketch artist. Uh, so I still, whether it's a big piece, whether it's a small piece, whether it's uh, character design, whether it's a pinup, I typically start. If it's just landscape, I don't. Well, sometimes I do there too. The vast majority of the time, I start with a rough sketch. So we're going to do that today. Got our black. We got our sketching peppermint. Test the size. Probably want a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. And um, you'll already notice that it's got layers, just like Photoshop, just like all the big names. So you're probably familiar with working with layers. It's got layers again, depending on the size of your pad, depending on the size of the piece that you're working on, and paper is not that big, you'll be able to have more layers. So 300 paper, I think we're going to end up having like 40 layers. We'll see. It's a newer tablet, but we'll see. So we've got our layer. This is our background, and I mean, even if we're at the point we're at right now, when you've only got the one layer, if you mess up, you can just clear it and start over. So nobody said anything, so we're just going to do the headless horseman because it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And when I do my tokens, they always come at the same angle because I kind of made my own thing for, here we go. So this is the one we're going to be using. So most of the time when I do my own digital tokens, I give them a miniature look, like they've got a base, and people tend to like those. So that's the template that we're going to be using today, um, and that's the angle that we're going to be coming from. So semi-bird's eye view. So something to take into account when we do the headless horseman. And I don't recommend doing things the way I do. Typically, you'll want to have a model or a picture for reference. I tend to go freehand a lot, and that's just because I've been doing this for 46 years. 45 years, something like that. So I don't recommend doing freehand, and I don't do freehand all the time. If I struggle with a pose, if I struggle with some anatomy, I will go get a model. I will go get a reference picture. In Procreate, there's a couple of ways to use reference pictures. I guess I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. So you can either go um, with just inserting a photo, probably the easiest way. The other way is for if you don't want people to know that you're using a model. Um, there's a lot of easily bruised egos out there, so people don't always want you to know that they're tracing or using a reference model or what have you. But you can always, oh, that's the wrong one. It's been a while since I've used this. Oh, right there. That's why. Okay, so you can, come on, there we go. You can also do it this way. And if you do it this way, if you're uh, if you're exporting your video, I'll show you. So for one, you can move this around wherever you want. And for two, if you export your video, because you can set it up to where Procreate automatically records everything that you do. Um, and then by going here, you can export that video. So people who do Procreate videos, I'm going to tell you, it's kind of obvious to an artist when they're using a reference, and I don't know why it's that big of a deal unless they're just tracing and they've whatever. But if they're using a reference and you don't see it, then they're probably using this preview here. Okay, but that was just a quick know-how for because most of you will probably be using references. I'm a bad boy. I don't use references most of the time. So we got our angle-ish. So it's going to be coming from here. I kind of want him to be skinny. Um, we talked a little bit about how he's going to look in the campaign that night. So really pose is what's important. We could do hunched over. Typical zombie. He's probably still got his navigator robes and some of the wires, but they're probably tattered. Let's just go and see what feels right. Oh, that would actually squinch his eye up, though. That probably won't work. So, I tend to draw a lot of hefty characters, like chubby characters. Might be one reason I want to go gaunt with this thing. I'll obviously get quiet on the non-coaching points, so any questions, just hit me up. It'll help knock me out of it. You get kind of in the zone, or I get kind of in the zone. Music's still going, right? I don't hear it, but it says it is. Okay, anyway. And it's easy to shrink and stuff also. I don't really get concerned about size when I'm doing the rough draft. That's part of what the rough draft is for. So that's going to be it for this guy's head. So it's okay to put it up there for now. Um, yeah, I kind of want to give him like a hunched look. Not really portraying the gaunt very well, but sometimes when the pencil speaks, you just listen. I'd have him, what do you think? Have him hover? I don't do many hovering critters. We should do a hover. Yeah, that is not very gaunt at all. Trim it up a little. Have him be knock-kneed. Well, generally I like it, but I don't like that sway. So there's a couple ways we can fix the sway. We can try that, but that's not going to do what I don't like. We can try this. There we go. That'll let us do that too. The benefits of digital art. And I know a lot of artists purists will say, well, that's cheating because you can just maneuver shit rather than having to start over or use a pencil's eraser. Tools are tools, as long as you're the one doing the creating, AI artists. Artists are really about using what you got, creating something from nothing. Um, Digital art is still art. Uh, you're not using anything less creative than paint that someone else makes for you, or a pencil which someone else crafts for you. It's the same thing. So I don't want to hear that shit. But typing a sentence into a program, that's not art. We don't do that shit. All right. I guess instead of being quiet, I could talk about Hitman films. Oh, I know what my number two is. Well, it's Hitman though, not just Assassin. It's probably still my number two. So I'm a big fan of the Netflix original Polar with Mads Mikkelsen. Um, Big fan of that one. That's probably going to be my number two Hitman flick. Netflix also has a really good Hitman flick, Gray Man. That's really good. The Russo brothers did it. It's a really good movie. I'm pretty sure Polar is going to be in my top five. So it's going to be in my top five. Um, it's probably my number two, is what I was really meaning to say there. Okay. So, I think I want a side eye. I think that's the best course. Yeah, that looks so cool. Because you can make it look like a hood or a collar. Yeah, that's pretty good. You'll see me do that a lot. This little button over here, that button right there is also undo. You can either tap your screen to undo, or you can just hit that button. So you'll see me do that a lot because an artist is only as good as his eraser. Okay, so he needs to have spindly fingers, I think. So bony fingers with extended nails rather than bestial fingers. I want it to be like an uncanny valley thing, not full beast. Don't want to confuse him with a chaos spawn. I don't think Gray Man would be in my top 5. Timothy Oliphant's Hitman film was pretty good. I don't think that'd be in my top 5. The Jackal with Bruce Willis and Richard Gere, that was pretty good. Fritzy's Honor. Yeah, I'm going to disqualify that one. Assassins was not that great. Antonio Banderas and Sylvester Stallone. The Kill Bills are really good, and they're all one movie now too. Those will probably be in my top 5. Yeah, I think so. So The Whole Bloody Affair, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, that's probably going to be in my top 5. In History of Violence, he wasn't a hitman per se, so that doesn't count. The Crank films were really good. Replacement Killers, Chow Yun Fat, that was pretty good. Oh man, Bullet Tooth Tony. So Snatch was pretty good if you count that as a Hitman film. It had Hitman in it. He was really a bagman, but still, that's a Hitman. Although Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was better, and he was a better Hitman in that one. I don't know. They're both really good. And the Hitman wins in Lock, Stock. So I think Lock, Stock's going to make it in my top 5. Pretty sure about that. And I'm pretty sure about this pose too. So we got to make him lanky. So that's probably enough muscle. My hands may be a little too big. You never do hands first. I always do it, but you shouldn't. I shouldn't. Yeah. Shocker. Although maybe that's part of the mutation. Maybe that's part of the uncanny valley. Maybe his hands grew also. But they're really big. I'll shrink them a little bit. So this is the nice quick way to shrink. If it's just a part. Ta-da! Watch this. Zing! That's simple. And do it again over here. Okay. Although that one wasn't that big. Okay. So if you didn't catch it, because I went pretty quick, what I did there was I used the select tool there, and I outlined them like so, and then I used the move tool there. That's it. And if you're a digital artist using Procreate, you're going to be using those all the damn time. If you get famous and you're a pro and you're telling me you're not using them, I'm still not going to believe you. You're still using them all the damn time. You may have a video in which you don't use them, or two, but I'd wager I rarely get through a pick without using them. Or a piece? I guess it's a piece, not a pick until it's done, right? Okay. All right, I like that. I like the funky shoulders because of the mutation. Knowing your anatomy is decently important for this life. Um, of course, cartoonists are not all that anatomically accurate. So there is that. But they usually have like a gimmick to it, to the stuff that they're not accurate about. So knowing your anatomy is a big deal. Some of us take anatomy and physiology just for that reason. Like for instance, this muscle right here, which goes first? Does that muscle go first, or he doesn't really look gaunt anymore? That's kind of a big muscle. I'll erase some more. So like knowing which of those muscles is going to take precedence in the aspect is huge. Knowing that there's a muscle right there is handy. And don't quiz me on the names of the muscles. If you know the names of the muscles, you win. Nothing about this is a contest for me. I'm not a very competitive person, period. Just with myself. There's quicker ways to do this also. I'll be honest. There's a quicker way to do what I'm doing right now. I just get into art mode, and this is de-stressing. Sometimes I'll color a whole thing just to de-stress, because coloring is the most distressful part. Let me tell you, distressful? De-stressing. De-stressing. Coloring is the most distressing part of this. Line art is the most stressing part of this, if you can believe that. Okay, so I like the funky shoulders. I like the funky chest, but let's get rid of some of the funky chest. I think it's a little too much. A little too much. By funky chest, I mean that was not anatomically correct, but it is a mutant, so I'm not too hung up on that. Okay. Yeah, that one's still pretty big. I'm also not too hung up on the rough sketch looking great. When you're your own artist, when you don't have an inker, when you don't have a sketch artist to do your rough sketches, you can cut corners. Since I do all my own line art, since I do all my own coloring, all my own editing, all my own writing, you get the idea. Since I do everything myself, I can cut whatever corners I want. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. When you're thin, it looks like you have a better six-pack than you actually do. So this tracks. All right. And I think I kind of want to have him have some sort of pants, like falling off his hips. I kind of want that. What do you think? Pants falling off the hip? I think so. I've also given thought to like those, like Weapon X Wolverine style chastity belt looks. I don't know. I'll think about that while I work. Ooh, I think spines. He should have some spines, right? Yeah. Too much. Yeah, that's pretty good. And what do you think? Like Chaos Star spines for the eyelashes? I kind of like that. Do some like. For the eyelashes? Is that angle wrong? That angle's wrong. Oh yeah, that looks cool. So it's still an undivided navigator. That looks really cool. But we should only have 4 and 4, right? For the 8. I don't know, that one should be this one. Since it's chaos, I don't want it to be too symmetrical. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, man, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. I was thinking maybe more eyes too, but I don't know that I'm feeling that. I think we're good on the amount of eyes, don't you? Okay. I'll tell you what I forgot to do. I forgot to put a screensaver. Let me put a screensaver on here right quick so that when we do an intermission, it looks like we're doing an intermission. All right. There's nothing to stop you seeing it for a second while I do this. Boom. Now we have a screensaver. Okay. Back to the Headless Horseman. He's not nearly as gaunt as I planned, is he? I could fix that. I could fix that pretty easily with this. And this is liquefy if I went too fast for you. This is the third way that I said you can shrink stuff earlier. I showed you 2. This is the third. Okay. I dig it. And honestly, that's going to be covered up anyway. Because what we're going to do is Turn down the opacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to put his robes over most of this shit. Because navigators should have robes. And a lot of artists, like if I was Todd McFarlane, of course, I'd be drawing these robes all over the fucking place. They'd be flipping over here and shit. But sometimes your robes just gotta hang, man. I just want some hanging robes. Oh, bad angle. Bad angle. Losing my own angle. Okay, there we go. So we just want his robes hanging down because he's flying anyway, or hovering, levitating. Hover is a spell. He's got hover. Levitate's a spell. He's got levitate. I wanted that in there so bad. No, I kind of don't like it. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So that's where the robes are going to be. And then we can put some of his navigator cords hanging also. Because the navigators, well, okay, so Chaos Navigators, it's honestly, there's not much fluff about Chaos Navigators, but they do have them. And typically, Imperial Navigators are plugged into the ship. So I assume the Chaos Navigators would be as well. But we can make use of those tentacles and have them a little, not just dangly, but funky. Have fun with them. I don't want to have too much fun with them because, boy, I just go hog wild on tentacles, as you saw with that other piece right there. Okay. The Big Hit. The Big Hit was a good film. It's not for everybody. I love just crazy films that know that they're bad um, and have fun with it. And The Big Hit was like that. Mark Wahlberg, Lou Diamond Phillips. I want to say around 96, 97. I love that film. I fucking love that. Oh, and Avery Brooks was in it too. I love The Big Hit. Would it be in my top 5? Maybe. I tell you, it took me a while to see Nobody. And the first Nobody was pretty good. The second one was, it was just okay. Um, they just seemed like a senseless, they just seemed like senseless action flicks. I liked RZA's character. Of course, I'm in love with RZA. I liked RZA's character a lot. But do we want sleeves on his robes? I kind of don't. Or we could do like those clergy sleeves. How do they? They like pin at a point. Let me see if I can remember. So they come down and they pin like there, and then they dangle a lot like that. Doesn't look too bad. Plus, it gives some detail. Oh, that angle's way off, though. That's horrible. Why didn't you say something? That's your fault. The thing is, I do sleeveless all the time. I don't know what my problem is, but I love drawing arms. And I hate too much detail. I blame Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld for that. I think artists who don't want to put the effort into research tend to try and make up for it by just throwing shit on the piece. That may seem like a call out, but I don't fucking care. I mean, each artist is different. They may think it's the coolest thing in the world. Honestly, they think it's, or obviously, they think it's the coolest thing in the world. But you hear Todd McFarlane talk when he's talking about shit. He's not talking about art. He's talking about business. Um, and I'll never forget there was this interview that the two of them did back in the day, and they did this piece together. And as they're working on this piece together, they're just throwing all sorts of belts and pouches onto the thing. And they're like, well, studies found that the viewers love um, the belts and pouches. So they weren't doing it for they weren't doing it for the art of it. They were doing it for business. Suppose it's easy to get trapped in that. So I don't really respect McFarlane as an artist. I respect him as a businessman. Obviously, he's a good businessman, but never really liked him as an artist. I liked Venom. I didn't like Todd McFarlane. There was another interview when he said he doesn't really think about anatomy. He just thinks about what the fans would think would look cool. So can pass me on all that shit. I'm struggling with these sleeves. I really am. Should I put sleeves? Maybe here. I like the arms so much I don't want to put sleeves. That doesn't look bad. Is that the right angle though? Yeah, maybe. I don't think El Mariachi and Desperado count as Hitman flicks, or those would probably make it into my top five. Honestly, I think Dust Bunny is going to make it into my top five. Pretty sure of it. Winter Soldier was pretty good. Even though that's a superhero movie, it still counts as a Hitman film. I don't know. I think I like it sleeveless. I'm going back. We're keeping it sleeveless. Yep, I like that better. We can do some sort of cool sleeve or seam up here is what we'll do to make up for it right there. All right, now I'm going to show you the quick way to erase lots of stuff, like I talked about earlier. So we want to keep trace of that chest because it's going to pop a little bit. Um, so what you do is you select your area with the select tool, and then you take 3 fingers and you just bring it down and cut. Voila. Okay. This was what I meant by having the chest pop a little bit. It's going to affect the robe, at least a little. Eventually need to decide where those sleeves are going to come down. What do you call, on a sleeveless shirt, what do you call the part where the sleeve should be? Sleeve holes? Hmm. Now I'm super curious. That happens a lot. You get excited, or one of your fingers doesn't have as much heat as the others, and it does that. It can get frustrating. Okay. Angle is wrong on that side. So I need to do the same with that. Okay. That's much better. And since you're doing your line art yourself, of course, this doesn't really matter that much. You can just not do this part. You can not erase everything. Um, I'm really just coaching myself a little bit because sometimes you also just forget and do stuff. Okay, once you get it to a comfy spot, you can simply increase your opacity back and you can merge down. Ta-da! Now we're actually getting pretty close to the point where we can skip to line art. Since he was ripped out, we probably want some wires on his. Yeah, put some wires on there. Probably a little too much of the chest popping. All right, so actually let's do a little edit. Nope, because that's where that's where we have this. Yeah, I think we're going to do like some sort of AdMech looking unders. Here, let's play with it a little bit. Okay, so that we can put a big machine here. Have like a circle because people like circles, right? See what I did there? It's not very even though, is it? Some of this we can fix with the line art phase, but no reason to not fix it now. And there are tricks to this. I'm not going to go over it today, but there are settings in Procreate where you can just, mirror. So one side can mirror the other. Um, if you want things to be completely symmetrical when you're working with technology and sci-fi like I work in a lot, that can be handy. I'll be honest, I probably don't use it as much as I should. Um, but the tools are there. Again, some artists will probably call it cheating, but it's no different than a ruler. No different than a ruler. Tools are tools. Unless you make your own tools, I don't want to hear it. It's still a little off, but with the angle, that's to be expected. Yeah, that'll work. The circle won't though. Let me fix that. Okay. Did I twist it too much or is my circle just wonky? Let's do this. I'll show you how to do something cool. Get rid of the circle. And we'll do a new one. All right, so there's our center. So if you hold it, it will actually give you, a specific cylinder, not cylinder, oval or circle. And then after you place it, it's going to ask you, and you can shrink it too while you got it here. Um, this one's tricky because of the angle, but I think it's going to be like that. So I think the side that's on top now should be a little smaller. But see how up here it says, editing? You can actually edit and it will ask you, well, it usually asks you. I guess it's because I wasn't close enough. So it'll ask you if you want a circle or an oval. I guess since I was specifically, going for an oval, it didn't ask me that time. But if you get close to a circle and you need some course correction, then you can let Procreate do it for you. Yeah, that's just a funny angle. I still don't like it. We'll tilt it one more time. I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now another thing. Um, I was injured in 2017, 2018, 2018. The company I was working for, they broke my hand. So I've actually got a nice scar. Not sure you can see it. Yeah, there you go. My hand was twisted, spiral fractures, and because of that, I had to basically relearn how to draw once my hand healed. So I can't really do straight lines anymore or not jagged lines, however you want to, curved lines, regardless, they're all going to look a little shaky because I've got a lot of lost feeling in my art hand. And I've just kind of embraced it. Most of the stuff that I've been drawing lately, the orcs and the chaos, it's kind of jagged anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But if I've got something that needs to be precise, like the towel piece that I did recently, the towel, they're pretty precise with their angles and their smoothness. So um, when we get to line art, you'll see Procreate can help you with that as well. But that's one reason why you don't see me worry about my lines too much, because I've just embraced the jagged lines, especially with chaos. But professionally, if I need to take care of it, there are ways to do that, and I'll show them to you. I can still get close, just not perfect. Oh, we're still on that top layer, aren't we? Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of all this shiz. About there. Okay. That's why it looked off. It doesn't line up with the unders. Okay, let's see if I can fix that. Go ahead and distort. I think that's where we're needing it. Yep, that's where we need it. Okay. See that line there? That's what I was talking about. If your finger gets cold, since I've got a lot of lost circulation, sometimes one or two of my fingers might get cold. Um, so if I were to erase it, it might put a funky, see? It's horrible, isn't it? So you just have to restart. Unfortunately, if Procreate has something to fix that, I have not ever seen it or found it. I suppose I could research it if it was that big of a deal, but one tip of the button, one click of the button rather, is not that hard for me. Okay, then we can merge down. And I was thinking leave it like that, not giving him sides for the unders, and then just have some cool chords spoken into him. Although that's muscle there. That's not a good spot for that. We can have chords coming out of here though. Poking beside the muscle or behind it. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks grim dark. And I think, go ahead. Yeah, that looks cool. Giving me Wicked City vibes. Although in Wicked City it was not an eye, it was a vagine. If you haven't seen Wicked City, it's another 90s classic anime. That one is on Amazon right now. If you haven't seen Wicked City, totally watch Wicked City on Amazon for free. We're just darkening our lines, getting ready for the line art phase, which I'm probably going to skip straight to because I like the bare arms. If I need detail, I'll add detail with the. Oh, I need to prepare the toes. So in body art, not that kind of body art, in body line art and sketching and character design, honestly, hands are the hardest part of the anatomy. Hands and feet are the hardest part of the anatomy to get right. Everybody will tell you that. Everybody will tell you that. It's not to mean that's not to say that some people haven't gotten good at it, but it's still the hardest part. I just have this weird fascination with arms. I don't know what it is. I love drawing on sleeveless shit. I usually wear sleeveless shit too, come to think of it. Most of my wardrobe is probably tank tops. Okay, so some of that's going to be the angle. So let me put some of that back. Okay, might even get a little flatness. Yeah, let's get a little flatness in there just for cool effect. Yeah. Yes, I like that. And we need to decide what kind of eye we want. With chaos, I usually go with the fucking, you know, serpent eye. Goats have fun eyes. We could do something kind of funky and like a mix. Let's do that. Let's do so. We'll have two. But one will be bigger. Okay, and then we'll do like some funky bubbles instead of lines because it's warpy. Problem is just not doing too much. Oh, but now that kind of looks like glasses. Oh, that doesn't work because it looks like glasses too much. So what we'll probably do here is let's do that intermission. We'll take a quick intermission and then we will come back. We'll touch up on the top 5 Hitman flicks. I think I've actually got close to, I think I've got at least 4 to plug in. That'll give us time to decide on what we want that eye to look like. So quick intermission, be right back. See, that wasn't that bad. Okay. Let's see. So we talked about Polar. I think Polar is going to be my number two. We talked about Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Um, Counts as one film. Talked about The Big Hit. Talked about Dust Bunny. Wasn't there something else in there? Oh yeah, Lock, Stock. So we talked about Timothy Oliphant's Hitman, but now. Oh, dude, Leon, the professional. Oh, that's got to be in there. I'm going to say that those two are tied. Yeah, they've got to be tied. I couldn't pick between Lock, Stock, and Leon. Could not. Shame there's no, I can't think of any horror films that deal with hitmen. Horror is probably my favorite genre. I can't think of any that deal with hitman for some reason. I'm certain I'm missing out on something. But, I mean, I gotta tell you, Dust Bunny was really good. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my 5. Before the end of this, that may change. But right now, I think that's my top 5 Hitman films. By the way, if you are using Procreate, you've probably seen this glove. You definitely need an art glove. Um, and they're cheap as shit. The Apple Pencil's not. But the glove is. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's my top 5. Although the big hit, I really like the big hit. The big hit would probably be 6. Top 10, maybe not top 5. Dust Bunny is so good. Great thing about Dust Bunny is you can't tell where the metaphors end. Brilliantly done film. Something is off. Oh, there you go. That's what's off. There we go. Okay. Dust Bunny's got Mads, it's got Sigourney Weaver, it's got David Desmalchian, who I love David Desmalchian. Oh, I just love him. Okay, we're almost ready for line art. I think we just hint at some we hint at some details. Oh, that's the chest. That's why it's like that. Okay. That's okay. This can come off the chest. While we were on intermission, I was actually trying to think of how the Hitman thing ties into Calim's Reach, and come to think of it, we don't really have a Hitman per se yet, or do we? Or do we? I suppose the average viewer may not know, right? Right. There hasn't been one openly shown. Maybe we got one coming up. I don't like that line in the back. We're going to get rid of that line in the back. I grabbed about flapping robes, and look at that. They ended up flapping. I'm going to fix that too. I don't like it. That's what you get for reading too many comic books, that right there. In fact, I think I'm going to shrink him a little. When you move, make sure what you're on. I did not. I think we're going to shrink him a little bit and then play up the, yeah, play up the tattered robes. Yeah, that looks so much cooler. And maybe I'll leave some of that flap in, but just to do this. See, doesn't that look so much cooler? And does it look cooler because the flapping cape has been so overdone? Maybe we've just been flooded with it. I don't know, but it looks cooler. These flaps gotta go. They gots to go. Did anybody check the time? The 24%, so we probably won't get through the line art. We may have to do a second sesh, which is fine by me. Hell, if we do a second session, I might even do it tonight. I need to get back in the hang of doing these. Okay, so let's do some skinny legs, knobby knees. One ankle is just a little higher. I'm not sure where I went with that. Did I just do 2 feet? That was weird. I think I did. Oh, you know what can do? Can make them kind of long nails too, though. So yeah, we'll just plan that this is going to set up a second stream. I mean, we'll get as far as we can in a line art, but 24 is not much power. It's probably good though. We don't need too long of a stream either, if I'm honest. I know I used to get caught up and do 3-hour streams for this. I don't know that I would watch a 3-hour stream, so. Okay. Yeah, that looks cool. That one's hidden, which can look cool. Okay. So the thumb would be about there. That would probably be about there. So in the illustration industry, when it comes to fingers, you've really got a couple of choices. And I fight with myself into those 2 choices every damn time. Because in the 90s, when I was drawing, I took a lot of inspiration from Joe Madureira, who is still awesome. Love you, Joe. He's a great artist. Um, and he always kind of adhered to that same, philosophy I had. You didn't have to do a lot of detail to do good art. And his peers definitely did not adhere to that. I wonder if that's one reason that, anyway, maybe we'll talk about that later. Maybe we'll do a top 5 comic book artists of all time. But anyway, Joe Madureira was not super detailed, um, and I loved his stuff. And when he did fingers, they were kind of bulgy. Is that a good word for it? There's a vein there. I like to use that vein there. And um, so sometimes I get caught up on my Joe Madureira influence, and I'll do bulgy fingers. But there's a lot of Disney influence with me also. And Disney fingers tend to be smaller. That hand is still abnormally big compared to that arm. I might have to fix that some more. Anyway, what I was talking about is so the fingers. So you can go one of those two routes with fingers and be okay. I tend to fight myself with those two inspirations all the damn time. Which is to say that sometimes when I do fingers, I want them to look bulky, and sometimes when I do fingers, I want them to look, tinier and tidier. It's a problem. Fighting yourself is honestly always the biggest problem with art. The second biggest problem with art is wanting to speed up, which is what I'm doing now because I noticed the power and I'm trying to get to line art. Once you start wanting to speed up, all sorts of problems occur. I need to dial it back. Okay, we're going to slow down and do that again the right way. So there's one carpal there. And some of this will get fixed with the line art phase. I'm just being a perfectionist now. There's another carpal there. Yep. See, I hurried and I fucked it up. And the final carpal is there. And this one's going to be almost beside it. Kind of there. I did watch Caught Stealing recently, which is kind of a Hitman film. And it had some cool Hitmen in it. Definitely not one of my top 5. All right, we'll pour back over that when we get to the line art phase. I'm sure that I fucked it up. And I didn't fix it completely, but we'll go over that later. That one's just too big. And honestly, too cliched. I end up with that hand pose a lot. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be thinking about that eyeball too, wasn't I? I think we just do tried and true. We could do like multiple pupils. Ooh, that's cool looking. Because I was thinking about doing more eyes on him, but multiple pupils is kind of cool. You don't see that much. Yeah. And we'll have it kind of the tearaway look. Off. And I'm not saying caught stealing was bad. I think I overall enjoyed it. A little sad. Actually, it was pretty sad, but realistic for the most part. Um, Aaron Butler, that's his name, right? Good actor. I like him. I think he'll go far. Acting wise, I don't know anything about the guy outside of that. Admittedly, there's some celebrities that I just don't follow anymore. Support? Also, we'll say support because of some of their ideals. I think part of my problem right now is I'm hungry. All of a sudden, I just got slammed with hunger. Yeah, I like that. Okay, do we want to put more eyes? I kind of want to put more eyes. I recently did a piece with eyes all over the shoulder though, so I don't, if I do this, I don't want to put it on just the shoulder. Okay, where can we have eyes that wouldn't be too funky here? Have one there. my goodness, I'm so hungry. Why am I so hungry? It's very Zinchian having all these eyes, but whatever. So far, they're just on the top, too. Do I want to put them on the bottom half? That hand is so big. I'm going to shrink that. That was me being on the wrong layer. That's what happened there. Okay. Don't want to do too much in the same spot. In fact, that might be enough. It's going to lose, you're going to lose a lot of detail when we shrink it down to a token anyway. I mean, we'll still have the big piece. We're not going to lose too much. We'll still have the big piece. I kind of want to put some, you may need more tubes so we can have more tubes hanging down too. Okay, we'll put one or two hanging down. All right. So we'll combine those. We will start our line art. So that's the first step with line art, is I turn the rough sketch way down opacity-wise so that you can just barely see it. I use calligraphy and script for my line art. The I want to say I usually use 3. Is that right? For this, maybe 4. That's a lot. We'll go. It's going to shrink a lot though. We'll go to 3. We'll see how I can do with 3. And then where you start is really up to you. This is where the, oh yeah, I was going to show you about the smooth lines. So since I can't really do smooth lines, it can help you. So like this hump here, you know, if you hold it, like with the circle I showed you earlier, it will actually smooth your line for you. So Procreate will compensate for a lot of your straightness and smoothness. But I don't really care with the chaos because you want it to be kind of jagged. So like that, that's too much. How are we doing? 15%. We'll do a little bit more. And we're at 145. So we'll see if we can last 14 minutes, but I doubt we can. Okay. I'll be honest, that opacity is still a little bit darker than I usually have it. I like the spiky bit eyelashes, though. I'm proud of that. I think my issue is I had way more coffee than food. That's probably what the issue is. And you can start where you want. Um, when it comes to your line art, I'm kind of starting with the spiky bits because they are the most pronounced, um, closest. That's generally how I do my line art, is whatever's closest I tend to focus on. I don't know why. I guess because when I get to shading, I kind of do that. Oh yeah, so pressure sensitivity that I was describing before. You can see that while I'm doing my art, my line work. See how hard that is? Or big that is? It's because it was hard. If I don't go as hard, ta-da! That is the great thing about the Apple Pencil. And that right there is the comic book artist in me, is what that is. Different parts of the lines being darker is straight up comic book art. Okay, it's time we decide on this detail, the clothing detail, what kind of latches we have. I think I kind of want to have slightly technological, so we'll do this. Yeah, I dig it. It looks off, but it's so small it doesn't really matter. Hitman's Bodyguard. That was a good movie. The first one. The second one was horrible. I would like the first one a lot more, in fact, if the second one hadn't ruined it. Because the second one just, it really did ruin it. People need to know when to leave shit alone. Yeah, it's much better. Yeah, obviously I'm not working with vector files, right? Super pixelated. And I need to decide whether this robe's going to have a seam. Haven't decided that yet. I like that though. I like that crease. Oh, that was supposed to be the arm? Oh, I don't like it then. What was I thinking? Gotta have some normal eyes, right? There's our warning. We knew it was coming. Actually, that's now I'm going too fluid. That also is an issue. And some of it is this pad slipping. It's on its own stand. Well, it's on the stand I bought for this case, but it has been slipping this whole time. I'll work on that off the video though. Okay. And you get the idea. So coloring actually doesn't take that long. The concept phase, the rough sketch phase, takes up a good majority of doing this shit. So I'll probably just pick up I don't know, I'm tempted to do the line art and then just do a coloring session. But line art touch up is, maybe I'll do the line art, but not line art touch up. My line art usually has two phases. I've got a touch up phase for my line art. Um, so I'll throw that around while I get some food because I need some food. But maybe I'll do the line art and then come back and do touch up and colors. We'll see. Regardless, I'll start calling it there. It's good to be back though. Um, and check out Event Cruise's site. The Battle Barge 2026 starts on the 26th of September this year, which is also my birthday. Um, the narrative's going good. On my art station, you can see one of the short stories. I've been holding off on putting the other short stories up because I wanted to get art for them, but maybe I'll just go ahead and put them up. Technically, writing's art too, right? Yeah, maybe I'll do that this weekend. You can also see my art in Made a Monster by Rugby Melee Games, or is that Long Con? One of the two. But it's on BackerKit now, so a good portion of the art for Made a Monster is done by me. If you like Dungeon Crawl Classics, then check that out. Um, you can catch Adeptus Carnivalum here as well, like the standard podcast. I'm not sure when the next one's going to be because everybody's got stuff coming up. We'll keep you posted. Maybe I'll just do some by myself. And the next campaign is going to be the second Wednesday in June? No, May. Second Wednesday in May. That's going to be the next campaign session. Session 2 for campaign 2. Um, my Patreon's still up. It just hasn't been updated in a while. So you can check that out if you like. But I will be back here. I don't know. I might do another one today. We'll see. We'll see. It's something I need to get used to again. So I might do the touch up to this guy today so we can finish it up. If I don't do it today, I'll probably do it tomorrow. But I will update it with the coming soon as I get that decided upon. Um, and then latecomers, you can make comments as to questions that you have about Procreate that I can answer in the next one. Or Calim's Reach. I'm one of the writers, technically. Technically, there's three of us, Dan, Jack, and I. Um, so if you have any questions, some stuff, of course, I'm not going to answer, but we can get some stuff answered. We're working on physical resources for 2026 as well. Like I said, you got to cheat. Saw some behind the scenes on that earlier by accident, but whatever. So there's a lot of cool stuff planned. The sector itself, Calim's Reach, is coming along. There's some cool personae, dramatis personae already. Um, so yeah, if you got any questions about Procreate or the um, the system or Assassin Films, feel free to leave it and then I'll answer it in the next one. I'll work on another top 5 too. We'll try to do that each time. But yeah, I'm pretty set on this being my top 5 Hitman flicks. So if you haven't seen these, check those out as well. They're really good. Oh my God, no, this isn't my top 5. We'll fix that right quick because this is totally not my top 5. I'm forgetting something very important. Very important. Yeah, Dust Bunny is really, really good though. It'll probably be my 6. But 13 Assassins is the bomb. If you know Japanese or if you like subtitles, check out 13 Assassins. It's super good. But we're gonna call it there. I want to get something to eat because I'm actually a little shaky. I'm so hungry. And I've had breakfast too, so it's really crazy. But that's it for now. I'll probably be back, if not today, then tomorrow, and we'll do line art touch up and color at the very least. and slap this on a token. And I will catch you cats then.